Zabi, this is your quiz
Hi,
question.
sir.
Is this coffee or tea? What is this doing?
There
What am I
is
drinking?
coffee. Vegan coffee. Vegan coffee.
Yes!
Black
Today it's
coffee.
yes, with almond milk, and it kind of gets messed up when you put almond milk into it. So how have you been, man?
Cool. I'm good, sir. I
How's
mean,
your...
net is like really bad. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Am I back?
It's a problem that we have. No, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. How's work going for
So
you in
actually, the thing
Hyderabad?
is like back here in Hyderabad, the entire city is hit with floods, so the network connections are really messed up.
Oh man. How are your animals doing? Because it must be tough for them as well.
It is so we actually feed like around 6,000 plus street dogs and cats every single day. So it's become a real challenge. Still go around feed animals. 3 of our ambulance are working 24/7 to give on spot treatment, and so many cattle died. In dairy farms as they were tied. So the flood came in, the water came in. They had no way to escape, and it's been
Oh,
bad.
that's
It's been
tragic, man.
really sad situation.
That's really tragic. So, do you go out on a lot of these calls yourself, or do you have a team that works with you? How do you function?
Uh, we we have a team of volunteers that work with us. We have a strong team of volunteers that help that work with us, and we also have 18 full-time employees that have different
Okay.
designations that they follow. So that's how we function.
So let me ask you. I mean, you're in Hyderabad right now, and there may be people who, like you, are animal fans, animal activists in Hyderabad. If they want to work with you as part of your team or to amplify what you're doing, how do they get in touch with you, and how do they go about working with you? What do they do?
Yes, sir. So we will be soon putting up a volunteer form, and
Mhm.
anybody who wants to join us can just simply fill the form and get on board with us. And we're also now looking for, after thanks to Roadies, that there's so many people now who want to work with us. So now we're also looking forward to have city heads across India and
Oh, that's great.
expand.
Because
So
what you're doing really needs to become a pan-Indian movement and not just be sort of in Hyderabad. ये जो आप काम
true,
कर रहे हो
true.
पूरे देश में इसको फैलना चाहिए. I also have to keep remembering कि ये रोडीज का जो जब हम ये बातें करते हैं ना तो मुझे हिंदी में बोलना चाहिए. रणविजय बार-बार मुझे याद दिलाते हैं कि आप निखिल हिंदी में बोलो हिंदी में बोलो. So
I
Zabi,
know.
let's talk about your journey, yeah, because it's been a very interesting journey so far for you. जो पहला वोट आउट हुआ था जब रणविजय ने पूछा कि यार किस किस को आज फिक्र है कि उनका नाम आ सकता है, आई थिंक मोस्ट पीपल पुट देयर हैंड्स अप, अगर आपने हाथ ऊपर नहीं किया था. शुरू से ही आपको लग रहा था कि आपके खिलाफ वोट्स नहीं आएंगे. एंड व्हाई वर यू ऑलवेज सो श्योर? बिकॉज you watched Roadies before coming on to Roadies. You've seen Roadies and you've seen how quickly things get flipped on it, right?
True, sir.
So why were you always so confident right from the beginning that you would get no votes?
आई थिंक सर मैंने रोडीज में ना जितने भी कनेक्शंस बनाए थे बहुत जेन्युइन कनेक्शंस बनाए थे. बस गेम के हद तक या फिर सर्वाइव करने के लिए कोई भी कनेक्शन मैंने नहीं बनाया था सर. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल दैट आई टॉक टू ऑन द जर्नी, I had this vibe that they really liked me, and we had decent conversation, like real life conversations, not just related to the game. So that gave me enough confidence that the people who like me and support me, and I was always true to them, and they were always true to me. And I have this set of friends with me always who always had my back. So that way I was like pretty confident I'm sure that I'll survive.
And that was that feeling you had right from the beginning up until now. You've never had a vote cast against you.
Yes.
And you've never
yes,
ever
sir.
said कि सर मुझे इम्यूनिटी चाहिए, क्योंकि जब कभी कभी हम पूछते हैं ना कि यार आज डेंजर में कौन है, जब इम्यूनिटी लीडर्स के हाथ में होती है और हम पूछते हैं कि क्या आप डेंजर में हो, आपको चाहिए, आपको लगता है कि आपको इम्यूनिटी चाहिए. You've never asked for immunity ever, and it's remarkable. It is remarkable क्योंकि हमने अभी तक इतने सारे वोटर्स तय किए हैं और आपने एक बार भी इम्यूनिटी नहीं मांगी है. It's crazy.
I think I'm glad that at least the surviving part I'm doing good at that so far. Let's see how it goes आगे.
And now let's talk about what happened in the last episode, because पहला जो हल जोतने का टास्क था, हल्के में मत लेना. Over
जी,
there
sir.
you were left out. और
Yes.
शिष्यर आपको वापस कैंप जाना पड़ा. You couldn't even see the task as it happened.
True.
And next day when you were there and people were fighting for immunities, you had a little bit of an emotional moment. What
Yes.
was going through your mind at that point in time? Because you said a very powerful statement. You said, I feel useless right now.
Yes, sir.
And it's a very powerful kind of thing for a human being to say. What was going on in your mind?
तो सर एवरीवेयर सर मैं अपनी लाइफ में अब तक जितने भी सिचुएशंस में रहा आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन अ कंट्रीब्यूटर एंड आई हैव ऑलवेज एडेड वैल्यू टू दैट प्लेस or to that situation, but then somehow I started feeling कि roadies में I'm not contributing enough or I'm not adding value enough, and then when you're on a reality show your emotions are so high.
Yeah.
ऊपर से I have always been the last priority when it comes to performing tasks, and for obvious reasons. So that keeps building up. That started building up, and then last Halwalos mein I didn't even got to see the task. So all these emotions started building up, and sir, I'm somebody I value my vulnerability also. I like to embrace my vulnerability also. So I don't hold back to emotions, and I just upfrontly say what I feel. So that moment I really felt useless.
That is something that you and I actually share, Zavi, because I never hold back tears when I get emotional. I never ever say I shouldn't cry in public, and it's good. It's good to express yourself freely and openly. But I'm gonna throw googly at you now.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
So I've seen this in the boat outs. Zabi never puts his hand up. Zabi never says कि मुझे immunity चाहिए क्योंकि आज मैं danger में हूँ, because you've got your friends around you. And like you rightly said, the conversation that you've had with people on the journey, genuine conversations, and you've probably made friends for life, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you also know this, and I said this in my review today, that none of those friends would voluntarily give up their place in a task. Let's say there's a task that involves 6 people, and all 6 of them are your friends. You know that none of your friends will say, "नहीं, ये task मैं नहीं करूँगा क्योंकि मैं ज़बी को chance देना चाहता हूँ." Right?
True, sir.
Do you think there's a little bit of a, I won't call it two-faced, it's not doglapan, but a little bit of convenience there in that friendship, in that moment? I'm not saying outside the game, but in that game कि हाँ ज़बी हमारा दोस्त है, मैं इसके खिलाफ कभी वोट नहीं डालूंगा, ये मेरे खिलाफ कभी वोट नहीं डालेगा, मगर जब टास्क की बारी आएगी ना, तो यार मैं तो इसके सर के ऊपर चढ़ के जाऊंगा क्योंकि I need to shine. And that's what Ranvijay pointed out to you. He said that, Zabi, you have to snatch that opportunity because nobody's going to give it to you. Everybody's there to perform for themselves. You have to say, no, I want to do this task. Screw you. मुझे करना.
I think sir वो लोगों की गलती नहीं है, वो मेरी गलती है, because I never overpaced for myself, या फिर मैं कभी ऐसा snatch करने गया ही नहीं कि नहीं मुझे ये करना है, guys sit back now and I'll do this. I never did that. And I think somewhere down the line अब तक वो मैं गलती करते आ रहा हूँ कि I always thought मैं बस अपने लिए perform करने, I always didn't want it to become a reason for somebody to lose the immunity. So I always hold myself back, and I'll not lie, I was very underconfident and nervous in front of camera. So I was like, I always hold myself back. I was like, I do not want to snatch their immunities away अगर मैं गंदा perform करता हूँ. So I always kept myself, a little.
But Zabi, on the show, you've come to play for yourself, and I'll throw one more googly at you. You saw the halke mein mat lena task.
Yes.
You saw the previous task. Okay, chalo, maybe you might not have been able to do as well as Hamid or Akash.
True.
But I think you could have climbed the rope maybe a little slower than Abhimanyu and Kevin, but you would have climbed it.
True.
Coming down, rappelling also, Mike did not do it, Aman did not do it, they learnt it on the go. I think you could have done it. Halke mein mat lena, you have to dig for caroms. You could have done it. So you would have been no better or no worse than the other contestants.
True,
you see what I mean? So that opportunity, you have to say nahi. If there's an immunity going, I want to fight for it. I want to take part in the task. You sit on the sidelines this time.
So I think अब तक मैंने वो नहीं करा. Hopefully after this, जो रणविजय सर मेरे को सीख दिए after what happened in the previous episode, I hope आगे चीजें चेंज होंगी. Let's see.
और वो तो सिर्फ टास्क की बात है. Vote outs में तो you're the king of vote outs. So but then
I would like to I would love to give some insights on how vote outs have been actually happening, because everybody seems to miss this. So sir, हमारी टीम का यही प्लान था day 1 से कि there were actually 3 teams divided. एक दिल्ली, एक चंडीगढ़ और एक पुणे.
Okay.
तो हमारी टीम का हमेशा से यही प्लान था कि हम एक वोट आउट में एक टीम से अलायंस बनाएंगे और किसी थर्ड वाली टीम को टारगेट करेंगे, एंड द नेक्स्ट विल अलायंस विद सम अदर द सेकंड टीम एंड टारगेट द थर्ड. दैट्स हाउ वी स्टे इन द मेजॉरिटी.
So you were always going to be the principal team. एक बार इसके साथ अलायंस बनाओगे, एक बार इसके साथ.
that's how we played, and we played it with minds, and we played it fair. So starting में the first alliance we made was with the Pune team, and Saqib was from Chandigarh team. So what we used to do, sir, whenever we used to make the alliance with the other team, we used to go to them and we used to tell them कि आप नाम बोलो, whoever you want to send from the other team, we are okay with it, as long as we all are safe. So the name used to come from the other team. They pitched Saqib, and we're like, okay, let's all vote Saqib. And the next thing what happened, sir, I mean, when Akshita's vote out happened, somewhere down the line, I feel Kevin was the reason Akshita went home. Because what happened, sir, that day, we were not, what happened that vote out was we were not really sure that, we want to make an alliance with Chandigarh team. Mm-hmm. But then that morning, Kevin came to me and Kevin said, okay, let's vote out Sapna. So I told him, Kevin, abhi this just morning we're just having breakfast. Abhi just too much negativity to talk about vote out right now. Hum task karte, wapas aate, and then we'll discuss. But then I don't know, probably Kevin felt something else. So what he did was he went to Sapna and told them that Hamari team is planning against Sapna. And this is what I also told in the vote out, if you remember. And then Sapna came to us, the Chandigarh team came to us, and Sapna told me that, this is what Kevin told me. And I told this is lie because we didn't give Kevin the vote. And then we had no other option left then to, make an alliance with Chandigarh only. We had only Chandigarh to make alliance with. And then the target was Pune.
So then in that situation, you're saying that Kevin jumped the gun. If he hadn't jumped the gun, then
probably would have made alliance with Pune. And then the next task was EDM. And then the winning team was Pune, and then we made an alliance with Pune, and then somebody from Chandigarh went.
So I like the way you guys are always sitting in the driver's seat. It's in the driver's seat. It's like, one you. Nobody ever from our side.
And I'm glad that worked out so well. In the first leg, that worked out so well, and that's how we played it in the first half.
That's pretty interesting, man. So, of all the roadies that you're on the journey with so far, who are you closest to? Like, who do you share a really close bond with?
I think it's first Abhimanyu, Vipin, and Jan. These guys are the closest to me, and then also Apurva, Pratibha, Sanjay. These all. We three were from day one together, and then later on, Pratibha, Apurva, Sanjay, Shrishti, all of them joined. But then the closest I would say will be Abhimanyu always.
Okay. So the journey's been quite interesting so far. Have you enjoyed where we've got to so far? Right now we're at Kekar Lodge, and now we're going to get onto our bikes and we go to our next destination. You've seen the promo. There's a surprise voter that happens in the next promo. And it is a bit of a surprise for everybody because we didn't expect it, because it was actually at a rest stop. And that's going to be an interesting episode to kind of tune into.
True, sir. I think I have loved the journey so far, sir. मैंने अपने जिंदगी में अपने आप को इतना टाइम ही नहीं दिया था कभी. And I've got this opportunity through roadies के मैं अपने आप को इतना टाइम दूं, अपने आप को इतना अच्छा समझ सकूं. And I'm so glad what happened in the previous episode made me realize that how important that is कि मैं अपने आप को टाइम दूं और मैं ज़्यादा fit भी बनूं life में. So after the next workout, our journey comes to a pause. And then once I came back home, the one thing that started haunting me was when a 13-year-old me took such a strong stand for animals, why a 23-year-old me cannot take a stand for my own self. And then I started hitting gym, and then I started getting fit, started running, I started doing jogs and things like that. And I'm so grateful I
need to pause you right there, because we're not talking about what happens after the next episode.
Yes.
So I'm going to pause you there.
Yes.
Before you say something.
No.
Roadies fans, and Roadies fans are like so passionate. They're like, somebody's going to say something now and they will figure out. No! I'm not going to say anything. Okay, listen, Zavi, it's been great chatting with you. I need to jump off right now because
sure.
It's lovely to see you again. All the best. And anybody who wants to work with animals or with Zabi in Hyderabad or across India, please get in touch with him on his Instagram.